We have had some amazing guests this week. We had Russ Feingold yesterday, Alan Simpson. We had Thom Hartmann this morning, Alan Grayson, John Sinton. Progressive voices all. I'm putting progressive in a small p with Alan Simpson because he at least was progressive on the issue. I have to give him credit on gay rights, gay marriage. He was forthcoming and outgoing, and I give him enormous credit for that. But we disagree on a lot of other things. Having said that, joining us now is one of my favorite progressive voices in America. He is a broadcaster. He is a raconteur. You can hear him in Los Angeles on KPFK. But the best place to find out how to follow Kerry Harrison, known as Harrison, is at goharrison.com, where he streams live. In fact, you can follow this right now by going to goharrison.com, where I see him. I see him smile, Kerry Harrison.
How's that?
There it is. The smile is delayed. There it is. There's the smile. It was delayed for 10 seconds, but there it is. Kerry Harrison joins us now. Welcome to the Stephanie Miller Show.
It's such a treat, David. And without getting into effusive encomiums about how amazing and wonderful you are, which would be pure fact, never a compliment, pure fact. It's
encomiums.
A treat to be here.
Well, thank you for that. If we do this, if we play words with friends on the air, we will lose all of our listeners because they'll spend all of their time trying to say, "What the hell was he talking about?"
But as John Sinton pointed out, they will use the IP, Mr. Bush's internet's plural, the Google, the series of tubes, and go to Wikipedia.
Yes, go to Wikipedia. Get thee to Wikipedia. Kerry Harrison, first off, I want to thank you because on your program yesterday or 3 days ago, I've lost track of time, you had on Monday, you had Alan Simpson as a guest, and you were kind enough to tell me that he was in Los Angeles. We were able to get him on yesterday with the author of Shoot from the Lip, the biography of him. Don Hardy joined us in studio. Thank you for that. He was a fascinating guest, and you talked to him as well. What is your take on Alan Simpson as a Republican and as a statesman, really, I think?
He really is a statesman. I mean, we can compare. When Richard Nixon died, he died as a statesman, and nobody could figure that one out. But
I still can't.
I know. Alan Simpson is the Republican that was my grandfather. One of his best friends is Clint Eastwood. He's that kind of Eisenhower Republican.
Yeah.
He believes that, all the American citizens ought to have a free shake of, a landscape that's even Steven for one and all, that each American citizen is valuable as the founding daddies intended. Tommy Jefferson said, you know what? We're kind of all equal here. Even Ben Franklin, amidst prostitutes, would turn and look and say, you are my brother, sister.
Sister. I think it was sister. If it was brother, then it's new facts about Ben Franklin previously not in evidence. And by the way, Tommy Jefferson, I got to say, I know how old you are, and you're not that old. You're not old enough to call him Tommy to his face. However, we revere Tom Jefferson, a founding father who understood that there was a separation of church and state, something that Alan Simpson understands, but plainly Rick Santorum does not.
Well, Rick Santorum is the king of the zealots here. This man foams. He has some kind of weird special. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to Alan Simpson, and he's an octogenarian, he's teetering into serious geezerdom. And he's more on fire than ever. And we see this with NASA scientists, with old Air Force guys who at the end of their career decide to say what really went on. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
and
they have nothing to lose.
He's funny. He's puckish.
And he talked to you about, as he did to me, I think, about Rick Santorum,
He
who
did.
we call you talked about foaming at the mouth. We call him, Stephanie does, Frothy Santorum. That's the nickname here. But he talked to him about being dangerously
Yes.
A zealot, a true believer.
Yes, and he probably recounted to you that when he was in the Senate, he would catch Santorum's eye.
Yeah.
It had that glaze, that weird zealot connection to something.
He did.
And I happened to ask him, if Mitt Romney gets in, who's been a wonderful credit to his church, I mean, he has boosted that thing in enormous financial prowess.
They really they do so well that they recruit people after they've died.
Well, yeah, right? And people who wouldn't necessarily want to be baptized, too. Let's put it that way. But one of the things about Romney, I was pointing out that, Kolob, the planet Kolob, which is where Romney's particular god lives on its own planet at 6'2" tall. Well, Senator Alan Simpson had never heard of Kolob, and he thought we were talking about Superman.
Yeah, that's Krypton.
Right, because he is the kind of Republican, to your point, who really is just a meat and potatoes, straightforward guy. 1 and 1 is 2, not 7 on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's still 2.
It's still 2. Facts
so we like
are
this
facts.
guy.
That we do like that about him. We disagree with him on some things, and in my interview with him, I actually asked him point blank. I said, do you think that if President Obama is reelected and is no longer facing the voters. One of the problems, we saw Olympia Snowe stepping down from running for reelection because Washington is broken. But part of the problem one of the reasons Washington has become broken is because people are always, from the day they are elected, they are focused on their next election. They have to. They have to raise money every single day. Dianne Feinstein, when she was running, this was 6 years ago, Lord knows what it is now, in order to be competitive in California, statewide, had to raise $30,000 a day every day for 6 years. Now, it's hard to walk, chew gum, and raise money at the same time, and that's what has broken the system. So I asked Alan Simpson about the possibility of Barack Obama being liberated if he's reelected, not having to ever run again. You can't, termed out. Yeah. Would he be able to implement some of what the Simpson-Bowles Commission has recommended? And he said, yes, absolutely. He'd be freed from that. And at which point I said, did I just hear you endorse Barack Obama for re-election? He said, no, Mitt Romney would do the same thing.
Sure he would.
Not so much, I think. It is a funny world. We do have, I understand the nature of, having worked in it for so long, the nature of politics and politicians needing to pay attention to voters. But if that's all they're doing, paying attention to elections, not what's in the best interests of the country, we got a big problem.
Well, also, think of the curious counterpoint. We're told that these austerity plans have to happen to all the residents of Earth. 7 billion people on an orb, 307 million of us here in the United States. We must get rid of police. We must get rid of schools, air, water, fish, the whole soup, cat, and pizzas, right? Oh, my God, it's terrible. And yet people are simultaneously seeing hundreds of millions of dollars in cash floating around for these candidates, $1 billion with a B dollar election cycle this year. It's like, where's the money coming from? I was just told by the same people we don't even have a single penny, and they're luxuriating in cash and prizes. Occupy that one.
Yeah, it is. I have thought actually about cutting out the middleman. Let's have the Koch brothers write checks directly to the electorate. Instead of paying for these commercials, I want a $500 check from David Koch. Just send that to me. Is my vote for sale? Well, it depends on the size of the check. But the point is, that's in essence what they are doing. They are buying votes here, which is illegal, but they are buying it through technically legal means. It's the same. It's illegal to lobby a politician by handing out checks on the floor of the House unless you're John Boehner. But it is, but it is in fact possible to legally bribe them by giving money, huge, unlimited amounts of money, to their campaigns or on their behalf.
David, imagine what we would call the third world. I don't even know where that is today. It could be parts of L.A., frankly. Imagine if it were the third world and somebody said, well, they're handing bags of money to the politicians to, help them out once they get elected. We would send in the tanks, the United Nations. It's election fraud. Oh, my God.
Yes, we would. And we'd send in Jimmy Carter.
Right.
But you're right. The things that we decry around the world are happening in our own process here, and yet we hold ourselves out as the model for democracy for the rest of the world. And it's a sad truth that is not the case. Kerry, we're talking with Kerry Harrison. website is GoHarrison.com, one of the great broadcasters in America, and you don't have to be in his part of America, in Los Angeles, to hear him. You can follow him at GoHarrison.com through the Ustream. And, Kerry, the easiest way to do it is to go to that website. Is that right, GoHarrison.com?
Yeah, GoHarrison.com. We run a 24-hour stream, all kinds of political analysis. We have a feature-length Star Trek movie that was never released into the theaters because there are many progressives who are sci-fi people, obviously, that have brought forth this kind of stuff, and we share it with each other for free and for fun, my favorite price.
Fun is your favorite price?
Yes, it is.
I know. I know you can pay in fun dollars.
I'm not going to pay until I have to, David.
Well, that bill will eventually come due.
Yes.
Kerry Harrison, thank you for joining us on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to hear your progressive voice. Again, people should follow you, can follow you at GoHarrison.com. I'm watching you live on the stream right now. But as we let you go, any thoughts about the passing of Davy Jones and the loss of one of our monkeys?
I have to tell you, and I suppose this might rankle a few, but I can't imagine after Stephanie's recent announcement. But I had one of my first inappropriate feelings watching the Monkees, and I couldn't figure out why. So I think a lot of us have a special connection.
That is a very special connection and possibly too much information for a lot of people. But I thank you for sharing that heartfelt tribute. That and Michael Nesmith, I think we're going to be looking to today. Kerry Harrison, GoHarrison.com. Go. You are the best and one of the great progressive voices in America. Thank you for joining us on the Stephanie Miller Show.
My friend. Thank you.
We will talk to you soon. We are taking a break, and when we